Two BMWs roll into my shop the same week. Same engine, same transmission, same dealer maintenance schedule on paper. One has 40,000 miles and looks like it's been driven for 150,000. The other has 200,000 miles and still shifts, like it just left the factory. The difference wasn't luck. It wasn't even how hard either car was driven. It was 7 small habits. Things nobody hands you in the owner's manual, and things most dealerships have zero incentive to teach you, because every one of these either costs you nothing or keeps money out of their service department. Today I'm giving you all 7. Stick around, because number 5 is the one almost nobody outside the trade knows exists. Real quick, I'm not talking about tricks from a forum thread that don't even apply to your chassis anymore. These are things I watch play out in real time, on real cars in my own bay. Some take 30 seconds to start doing. One of them can save you a 4-figure repair bill. Let's get into it. Secret number 1, the coast, not the brake. Most owners drive a BMW like an appliance. Gas, brake, repeat. High mileage owners drive differently. They coast. Here's why it matters. Lift off the throttle at speed and drive, and most modern BMWs, anything with efficient dynamics, so basically anything from the last 15 years, cut fuel delivery entirely while you're above a certain RPM and decelerating. You're still moving. You're burning 0 fuel. The second you touch the brake, that window closes. This is where most people leave money and brake life on the table without knowing it. Ride the brake into every stoplight, and you're throwing away free coasting distance every single day, plus dumping extra heat and wear into your pads, rotors, and calipers. I've pulled brake pads off cars with nearly identical mileage, where one set had triple the material left. The only difference was how the two owners drove. Some trims even show you this happening. A small indicator on the cluster or head-up display when the engine drops into that 0 fuel coasting state. Watch it flicker on and off a few times, and you start leaving gaps instead of chasing bumpers on autopilot. It also matters more than most owners realize on the highway specifically. Every time you tap the brakes to correct your following distance instead of just lifting early, you're bleeding speed you then have to burn fuel to rebuild. Do that 50 times on a commute and it adds up to real mileage lost over a year. On top of the extra brake wear. Costs you nothing. Just stop treating the brake pedal like your default. Secret number 2. Cold starts are where BMWs actually die. This one gets more BMW engines than almost anything else. And it happens in the first 10 seconds after you turn the key. Before you've even left the driveway. Cold oil is thick oil. It hasn't circulated through the top end yet. Camshafts, valve train, the Vanos system that controls variable valve timing. Rev the engine hard or just drive off aggressively in those first 30 to 60 seconds and you're forcing components to work under load before they're properly lubricated. Do that daily for years. And you're wearing out parts that are expensive and painful to replace. Vanos solenoids, timing chain guides, cam bearings. Here's the rule. Start the car. Let it idle a few seconds while you buckle in. Then pull away gently. No throttle stabs. No red line pulls until the temp gauge moves off cold. Once it's warm, drive it like you stole it. Winter is where this mistake does the most damage. Cold oil in freezing temps is thicker, so the under-lubricated window stretches out longer. Starting cold and immediately merging onto a highway on-ramp at wide-open throttle, that combination is what accelerates timing chain and Vanos wear years before it should happen. Secret number 3, your cooling system is a ticking clock, not a warning light. This is the one that catches people off guard the hardest because there's usually no slow warning at all. The car just runs fine. And then it doesn't. A customer's E90 came in on a flatbed last summer. Temp gauge pegged, steam coming off the hood, and she told me it had been running completely normal 5 minutes earlier. What actually happened? The plastic impeller on her water pump sheared off. Not a slow leak, not gradual degradation. Sheared instantly, with 0 warning on the dash beforehand. By the time the temperature light came on, the damage was already happening. Here's what most owners don't know. A huge number of BMWs from the 2000s through the 2010s use plastic and composite components throughout the cooling system. The water pump impeller, the expansion tank, sometimes the thermostat housing, instead of the all-metal parts older cars used. Plastic doesn't corrode the way metal does, but under 15+ years of heat cycling, it does something worse. It goes brittle and cracks or shears with no gradual leak to warn you first. One day it's fine. The next, it's a catastrophic failure on the highway. This is what dealers rarely bring up unless you're already in the waiting room with a blown head gasket. High-mileage owners treat the cooling system as a scheduled replacement, not a wait-and-see item, proactively swapping the water pump, thermostat, and expansion tank as a set somewhere in the 60,000 to 100,000 mile window, whether or not anything looks wrong yet. It's a few $100s done ahead of time. Wait for it to fail on the road, and you're not replacing a water pump anymore. You're gambling with a warped cylinder head or a blown head gasket, which turns a $400 preventive job into a $3,000 plus repair. By the way, if you want the exact mileage intervals for every fluid, filter, and wear item on your BMW laid out chassis by chassis, I put the whole thing together in the complete BMW Longevity Bible. It's linked in the description, and it's the same reference I use scheduling maintenance on customer cars. Secret number 4. Your battery needs to be introduced to the car. This one sounds strange the first time you hear it, but it trips up almost everyone who swaps their own battery or has it done somewhere that doesn't know BMWs. Newer BMWs use an intelligent battery sensor, or IBS, mounted on the negative terminal. It monitors the battery's age, charge cycles, and capacity, and reports that to the charging system so the alternator knows how hard to charge it. Install a new battery without registering it, and the IBS still thinks it's dealing with the old, degraded one. So the charging system undercharges a perfectly good new battery, treating it like it's already worn out. This is what dealers never explain when they sell you a battery over the counter. Do it wrong long enough and you get a strange loop. A battery that never fully charges, electrical gremlins, warning messages that make no sense, and a battery that's dead again in a year, instead of lasting 5 or 6. Register every new battery through the car system, and keep a proper smart charger on hand. I use a CTEK on customer cars and my own, because these battery management systems respond far better to a real maintenance charge than to sitting and slowly draining during light driving. I see this most often with owners who barely drive their BMW, a weekend car, a second vehicle that sits in the garage most of the week. Short trips and long idle periods are already hard on a battery. Pair that with an unregistered replacement that the car is deliberately undercharging, and you've got a battery fighting an uphill battle from day one. A 10-minute registration and an occasional maintenance charge is the difference between that battery lasting 6 years or dying again next winter. Secret number 5. The reset. Almost nobody, outside the trade, knows about. Here's the one I promised you. Every owner knows how to clear a service light. Fewer know they can pull real diagnostic data and clear the actual fault themselves without a dealership appointment. I use a Foxwell NT530 on customer cars constantly. It's a bi-directional scan tool built for BMW's electrical architecture. It doesn't just read generic codes, it talks to the individual modules, the DME, the transmission control unit, the battery registration system from Secret 4. That means you can register a battery yourself, reset service intervals properly instead of just clearing a light, and actually see what triggered a warning instead of guessing. Real example. A customer was convinced her transmission was failing. Hard shift, warning light. Dealer quoting a diagnostic fee just to plug in. Before I even touched the scan tool, I checked the fluid itself. Level, color, condition. Good sign, it looked like proper ZF Lifeguard Fluid 8, clean, correctly filled, so mechanical wear wasn't the obvious culprit. I pulled the actual code with the Foxwell, and it turned out to be a minor adaptation issue after a battery disconnect, not a mechanical failure. A quick reset and she was back on the road the same day. Without pulling the real code, that's exactly the kind of thing that turns into an unnecessary sometimes unnecessary and expensive, transmission service. That's the value of owning one of these, or knowing a shop that does. A $180 diagnostic visit becomes a 5-minute job in your driveway. Secret number 6. Your tire pressure light is lying to you about the real problem. Most owners see the warning, fill the tire, clear the light, move on. High mileage owners watch the trend, not just the snapshot. A tire that's cold from sitting overnight shows low pressure, then normalizes once it warms up. Not a problem. A tire that keeps needing air every week or two, even after you fill it, has a slow leak, a nail, a corroded valve stem, a bead that isn't sealing on the rim. The dashboard light can't tell those two situations apart. It just says the number is low right now. Dig into the tire pressure screen in iDrive, and you can see the individual pressure for each corner. Pay attention over a couple weeks and a pattern jumps out immediately. One corner, consistently a few PSI under the other 3, week after week, even right after you top it off. This is where owners get burned the most, on run-flat tires specifically, which is what most BMWs come with. Run-flats are built to drive on, even when they're losing air, which means you can be driving on a slow leak for weeks, without the ride feel changing at all. No wobble, no obvious warning sign beyond that light. Just a number quietly dropping. Catch a slow leak early. That's a $10 patch. Ignore the light for months because it's probably just cold outside, and that's how owners end up stranded on the highway with a tire that finally lets go. Usually at the worst possible time. Secret number 7. Parking brake habits that save your calipers. Last one. The habit that separates owners whose electric parking brake still works flawlessly at 150,000 miles from owners whose rear calipers sees solid. A lot of newer BMWs use an electric parking brake, which means the rear calipers themselves clamp down to hold the car. Never engage it, because you park in a garage on flat ground and just leave it in park, and those caliper pistons sit in the exact same position for months or years. In humid or wet climates, that's exactly the environment that lets corrosion build up on the piston and seize the caliper. Use the parking brake regularly, even on flat ground, to cycle those pistons. It's also worth keeping the caliper guide pins and slides properly lubricated during brake service. I use a high-temperature synthetic grease like Liqui Moly on the slide pins whenever I'm doing pad or rotor work, because dry, corroded slide pins are one of the most common reasons a caliper drags, wears pads unevenly, or seizes entirely. A 2-second habit every time you park can save you an $800 caliper replacement. I've seen this catch owners off guard in a very specific way. A car that's been sitting for a couple weeks while someone's traveling, parking brake never engaged the entire time. They come back, drive off, and notice the car pulling slightly to one side or a faint grinding from the rear. That's a caliper that's already started to seize. Cycling the brake regularly, even on a car that mostly sits, keeps that from happening in the first place. Remember those 2 BMWs from the start, the 40,000-mile car that looked wrecked, and the 200,000-mile car that still shifted like new. Same engine, same transmission, same factory maintenance schedule. The only thing that separated them was these 7 habits. None of it is complicated, and none of it requires a wrench in your hand. It's not about spending more on your BMW. It's about spending it in the right places before small problems turn into expensive ones. That's really the whole difference between the car that dies at 100,000 and the one still running strong at 250,000. Not knowledge of engines, just knowing where to put your attention. Notice something about all 7 of these. Not one of them is about buying expensive parts or chasing premium fluids for the sake of it. They're about timing. Catching the transmission fluid before it breaks down instead of after. Registering the battery instead of guessing why it keeps dying. Reading the tire trend instead of the single number. Every single one of these Secrets is cheap when you're ahead of the problem and brutally expensive the moment you're behind it. If you want every maintenance interval, every fluid spec, and every one of these habits organized by chassis in one place, that's exactly why I built the complete BMW Longevity Bible. Linked right below this video. If this saved you from a mistake you didn't know you were making, hit subscribe. I put out videos like this every week, and the next one might save you even more. I'll see you in the next one.